There we go. Oh. You gotta be professional. You gotta wait for the cut. There we go. Getting close. Here we go, ready. Here we go. Oh, Friday night hangout. We're back.
With a vengeance.
With a vengeance.
Yeah, I guess we're here.
That's it. That was the highlight of the stream right there.
Yeah, I think we should stop.
Stop right there. Oh, you know what? What movie was it where it was like, I'm putting the band back together? What's this? What?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
But,
the Blues Brothers.
Was it the Blues Brothers? There you go.
Was it? Yeah,
it's a famous band back together.
It was bothering me all day because that was a quote. Putting the band back together. And like, what movie is that from?
Oh, yeah, we're putting the band back together. Definitely Blues Brothers. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So it is the Friday night hangout, folks. Jim here from Halifax. I got Keith here in Wallace, Nova Scotia, a couple hours away. Well, an hour away. And then all the way in Montreal, which is 13 hours away drive. We got from Jocelyn in Montreal in Quebec.
Indeed.
The trio, the band's back. And we've been wanting to ramp this up again, you know, just try it out. Haven't done this in a little while. Boys?
Oh, my God. It's been what? Like 2 years? Yeah, at least.
Been a while.
Been a while since we did the with this particular lineup.
Yeah,
trio.
For sure.
And I think, you know, someone will do here and there. There's definitely going to be the podcast version of this where we're going to edit things down a little bit, but the ums and ahs. And I think, boys, one of the first things we learned is that we've kind of held off the drinking of the beer before the start of the hangout so that we're not totally lit as soon as I hit start broadcast. We got a little bit of time before we hit the wall.
You're talking about yourself there, eh?
True. That's why this is the only one here.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, we'll do our what we are drinking tonight a little bit later. But hey, you know what? Let's start with we got a couple of topics here to want to talk about. One of the great things, guys, that when we put this together tonight or today was that we got nothing to talk about today. But we do, though, right?
We do, yeah. We don't have a formal list, but there's so many things happening right now that it's kind of easy to pick and choose.
Exactly. So, you know, I wanted to bring up one of the first things was the latest shenanigans that is happening around my house. And I'm not talking about what my wife is doing, what my 4-year-old is driving me crazy with. No. I'm going to talk to you about I'm at work yesterday. And, you know, for those people who didn't quite know, I switched jobs last year. I left a very comfy government job and went to the high-tech consulting business, and which was ironically a 5-minute walk from my house. So I really traded in commuting to work. But anyway, the building that I work into, my neighbor is the property manager. So I'm at work. I'm about ready to get into the elevator. And she walks up to me with this look on her face, like, hello, I know who you are. What's wrong? And she's like, did you say you installed a security camera at your house for the front? And because we share a driveway. And I'm like, no, not yet. Oh, well, my daughter said that there's some guy sitting on your retaining wall at 2:30 in the morning the other night. And I'm like, what? Yeah, he just gets up and he walks over to ours. He sits and looks at his phone and then he leaves. This is at 2:30 in the morning, boys.
Weird.
Very weird. So I'm like, huh. So I did what every normal man would do this time, you know, in this day and age. Got home. Well, not did I get home. I used some work time to search the latest security cameras I can get that day. Home Depot, Best Buy, whatever I can get my hands on. I settled on the Nest outdoor camera. Ironically, it was on sale. I dug out from my kit my 900 lumens tactical flashlight that has the strobe to disorient people when you surprise them at 2 in the morning. And then I got my can of bear spray. That's right, Keith. The one that I've had for years, never used. And this is the time I might actually get to use it. So got all my stuff, quickly installed this internet camera, and go to bed. I set up my alarm. I'm getting up at 1:30 in the morning, and I'm going to get up. I'm going to stand in front of the window and wait for this son of a gun, right? So I get up, and I'm look outside the bedroom window, get a good vantage point, the perimeter. And sure enough, at 2 o'clock, almost clockwork, I see this freaking guy walking up the sidewalk. Now, it's on the other side of the street, so we got like a few lanes of highway of street here, but yeah, there's no sidewalk on our side. And I see this guy again. This is like 2 in the morning, guys. He's walking up the street in these Flagman road construction safety orange bibs, and he's just walking up. And all of a sudden, when you walk and something, you're just looking across the street, right? And you get your head tilted a certain way, but as you walk, you don't really look back or whatever. Well, at a certain point, Buddy was fixed on either our house or the neighbor's house, and he kept walking. And once he has parallel or perpendicular, kept looking, and then he kept on going, right?
Maybe he saw you.
Maybe you saw the glow from the phone because I was reading Twitter at the time. But
probably.
And then he keeps on walking, but yet every 5 paces, and then he turns around and he keeps looking at the house. Like, what the frick? I'm thinking maybe he noticed the camera because I did. I have a steel door, and the Nest outdoor has a magnetic mount. So you just, if it's metal, right. It's right there, super easy. So maybe he saw that. Anyway, he walks to the lights and he was wanted to cross, but he hits the crosswalk button at 2 in the morning. There's no cars, right? So then he stops, turns around, starts walking back, and he stops directly in front of the house at 2 in the morning, sits on the side of the curb, and lights up a cigarette and pulls out a beer bottle and watches the house. Yeah, I got
a beer bottle.
It was a brown bottle. I don't know. It was a little too far. I took out the binoculars and stuff like that to see what the hell is this guy doing.
Weird.
Very weird. So I'm doing this again tonight because this is driving me nuts. I was like, what the hell's going on? So I'm thinking, I don't know this guy. I don't know what's going on. So it's one thing if he's doing that across the street on the sidewalk, but the fact that he did this the night before in my driveway.
That's very strange.
Like 6 feet from the front door. That's a little.
Yeah, is he casing your house or what's he doing?
That's just it. Yeah. So he has his eye. Exactly, Keith. I don't know what he has his eyes.
Listen, if he was casing your house and trying to get things situated, I don't think he'd be wearing bright orange bibs.
Exactly.
You never know, though. Not all criminals are smart.
No, that's true. That's true.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I should walk out, give him an extra, give him a coffee or something like that. I said, buddy, dude, what are you doing there?
It does remind me of somebody I know several years ago in Halifax. Actually, he had a very elaborate Christmas light display, and every night some of his lights would disappear. And he was going nuts about it. Now, this guy, had spent a lot of time on this Christmas light thing, and he had pride in it and the whole thing, right? Which you kind of get. And this was, prior to having, easy solutions like the one you bought. So he had to, be up and, ready to film the guy. Anyway, eventually he got them, but it was literally consuming him. Like he could think of nothing else. His entire days were spent thinking about how I'm going to catch this guy red-handed. It was funny, actually.
It reminds me of like an 80s sitcom movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like a Seinfeld episode.
Exactly. So anyway, I'm just waiting. So I'm going to do this again tonight. Get up at 1:30. Looking out the window, watch this guy trying to case my house. Maybe he's watching the neighbor's house. I don't know. Maybe it's an ex of one of the teens that live next door, and he just does his thing. I don't know. It's kind of spooky. But the cool part about this, I'm not thinking about the guy too much, but I'm just having so much fun with this Nest outdoor camera. Then it got me thinking about, hey, this house is slowly getting into the whole Internet of Things.
Right.
You know, these connected devices. So we got this Bluetooth lock on the front door, deadbolt, so that we can lock it from the iPhone, let's say, or punch in the code or whatever, get notified when the door opens, that kind of, when the maid comes in, or I don't know, parents or whatever, right? So I got that. Now we got this little Nest thing camera. Then, of course, the next step is probably the thermostat. So I'm just wondering what kind of devices you guys got. You got one of those talking speakers, or?
Yeah, you know, I haven't gotten into those home devices yet, and I know I should. You know, I could see having programmable lights. That would be probably very useful. It's not something I have yet. Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet.
How about you, Keith?
Yeah, we have the Google Home. Use it mainly for music, but it's also hooked up to the TV, and sometimes it's hit or miss. It depends what you ask to watch. Sometimes it doesn't like it, but I think they're working the bugs out of that. It seems to be improving, but mainly just for entertainment. I don't have it for lights yet. That might be an option.
And you're pretty much a music. You use it more for streaming music and that kind of stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and same thing too. Like I'm right here. I got this nice little Bluetooth speaker that I use to charge my phone on, and I said earlier to Keith, it's like, you know what? I love Bluetooth speakers and headphones. I love when they're $40. That to me is like the perfect price point for me to just get either a Bluetooth speaker or headphone, because it's disposable. Well, disposable as in it might break, and
Right.
I don't feel bad throwing it out. It's pretty easy. If I do an impulse buy, it doesn't hurt the pocketbook as compared to the first Bluetooth pair of headphones I bought, which was like $100, and they were like absolutely terrible.
Sure.
You know, good brand name too. So I rather now I find that $40, you know what? Let me give it a try, and maybe, you know, maybe someday I'll spend the $200 for the Apple AirPods or whatever the hell big brand is. But you know what? I'm happy with the little stuff that I can find on Amazon. Tell you the truth.
Yeah, that kind of stuff I have. Like you and I bought the same Bluetooth earphones, and I use them quite a bit actually right now. You know, as recovery from my broken foot from this winter. I'm walking a lot, so I'm walking, you know, 5-6 kilometers at a time, and so I pop which is about an hour, you know. So I pop these in, listen to a podcast, and they keep their charge for a while. And I got rid of my Bluetooth speaker. Actually, I didn't get rid of it. I gave it to my daughter, my Bluetooth speaker. I had a little model that I bought online as well. Probably paid about $30 or so, and it was really fantastic. I loved it. It was very small, but had really dynamic range of sound. But I got a sound bar for my TV.
Oh yes, yes.
You know, instead of having the sound from the TV, it now goes through the sound bar, and the sound bar has a subwoofer, so the sound is actually really quite amazing. And you know, obviously it was like a couple $100, but it's Bluetooth, so whenever I want to listen to music, boom, you know, I'm on that, and it's got you know, really good room filling sounds. It's quite surprising actually.
Well, it's surprising, you know, it's funny because I realized the other day, it's like, man, I've been using Bluetooth for a while. So I had to go to Wikipedia to see how old things were at, but we're getting close to like almost 20 years of using Bluetooth devices. Yeah, I remember using it on my HP Jornada Palm Pilot. I don't know if anybody remembers.
Oh, I had a couple Palm Pilots.
Yeah, I have a few too. But when
remember those? Yeah.
When HP had one, I think they had one. I think it was featured in the James Bond movie with Denise Richards and Pierce Brosnan. Well, I forget the name of that one there, but yeah, I think the things were so big, she was carrying it on her belt like a holster. It was like this big tablet thing, whatever. But anyway, yeah, almost 20 years of Bluetooth, man. But now it's getting to that point where, you know, it's almost ubiquitous. It's
oh, for sure.
these devices that can plug in and stuff here. Hey, let's
well,
do.
Here's
yes.
one device. There you go. That is permanently connected on the Bluetooth on the phone, which is cool now, right? That you can have, because I remember not that long ago, you could only have one Bluetooth connection on your phone at a time. Now, the Fitbit is, you know, permanently connected to the phone. It's always on, connected to the phone. So I can connect either that sound bar or those Bluetooth speakers, no problem, or my car. Yeah, it's all seamless nowadays with those multiple Bluetooth connections.
I tell you, you mentioned it, the Bluetooth with the car. Man, I tell you, I love that. I had to do quite a bit of car rentals over the winter there because of work. And there's nothing better than just syncing up the Bluetooth to your phone to the car and listening to your tunes or Google Maps or whatever you needed to do was awesome.
Yeah, as long as you don't use Apple Maps anymore, Jim, I'm okay.
No, I was using Google.
All right.
Hey, let's do a quick acknowledgments on the comments here. We got a few people watching here. We got a Hike with Mike down in Florida. Hey, Mike, he commented here. I used to live next door to some neighbors from hell. It did consume me, and it was not healthy. In retrospect, it was the best thing. We sold our house and have a new awesome place now. So that's awesome, Mike. So we're actually we put the timeline on for us to move. This is our first house, so maybe in the next 3-4 years, probably we're going to be moving on to a new pad ourselves. One of the things that we don't like about this place is we're right on the edge of a very busy street. getting busier and busier every year, so it's a major thoroughway. So
your street is seriously busy.
It's
not a street really. It's a major thoroughfare.
Yeah.
It's like an artery now, major artery.
Yeah, it is major artery now. We also got Dan in Ontario. Remember Dan? He used to be on the Hangouts, boys.
Of course.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. Now, Dan's been busy serving Canada in the military and stuff. I think he had a few deployments here and there. I didn't see too many posts in a while, so that probably was why. So it's good to see Dan online.
Absolutely.
So it's good stuff here. Hey, while Dan wasn't online, I'm sure he was watching the Stanley Cup playoffs, and which concluded last night. I'm going to watch the replay because I did something I think is something smart. We don't have cable in the house. I got an Apple TV. I decided, Jocelyn, you were in town a couple of weeks ago. I said, I should subscribe to the NHL all-you-can-eat package for 1 month so I can just watch the Stanley Cup Finals. And I did it. And you know what? Loving it. I'm watching the entire replays of the games at my leisure.
Nice.
Skip through all the commercials and stuff like that. I can watch a full game in about an hour and a half, full broadcast. So I'm going to watch the last game tonight.
You haven't seen it yet?
No.
You know the result, of course.
I know the results. I read the articles and stuff, but I do like watching it in the proper context there. But yeah, for those who haven't, spoiler, Washington won the cup against Vegas.
And Ovechkin won the Conn Smythe trophy.
Oh, did he? That I didn't know. So.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That was a great series. I was watching one of the great things about the NHL app on the Apple TV. For free, you can watch the condensed games, which is about a 90-minute package. So I've been watching a good chunk of the playoffs, the hockey playoffs, in the 9-minute format. I would take a half hour and watch 3 games at a time, that kind of stuff every other day. Oh yeah, it was pretty cool. So I kind of kept up with it. I really like the Nashville Winnipeg series. I was watching a lot of Las Vegas. I was watching a bit of Toronto. I was watching. I wasn't watching a lot in the East. I was watching a few more stuff in the West. But when the finals came up, Vegas and Washington. I mean, either way it went, it was going to be a historic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Period, right.
And a lot of people don't like Alex Ovechkin for some reason. I don't know why. Certainly, he came into the league with a cocky attitude, and but you know, tons and tons of talent. But whether you like the guy or not, nobody can dispute that. And you'll see when you watch the game. When you watch the game later, Jim, and you see the end of the game, and you see his face and his attitude and his demeanor and how much he celebrated. Nobody, absolutely nobody, wanted this more than Alex Ovechkin. Yeah, exactly. There's no question. It was the only thing missing from what is for sure a Hall of Fame career already, right? I mean, the only thing that's now missing from his, you know, because you compare him to Sidney Crosby, they came in the league, you know, at the same time. He was supposed to come in a year earlier but the strike delayed that. The only thing missing from Ovechkin's resume is an Olympic gold medal, whereas the only thing missing from Crosby's is the Rookie of the Year, which Ovechkin got instead of Crosby. So there's give or take there. I think you're looking at two of the best players who ever played the game.
Oh yeah, and it reminded me the fact that he actually won. It reminded me when Ray Bourque won the Cup finally in Colorado.
Colorado, yeah.
After so many years in Boston.
Yeah, he deserved it.
Oh yeah, Keith, were you watching any of this Stanley Cup?
No.
Right,
I haven't followed hockey since Hartford and Quebec had teams, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Quebec comes back. Hartford will never have a hockey team again, that's for sure. But hopefully Quebec City comes back.
It's I'm kind of without a team. When Quebec, I was a Nordiques fan, and when Quebec moved to Colorado, I was like, nope.
Yeah.
And I went to Ottawa, and the last few years with Ottawa, can't do it. And of course, I lived in the city for a few years.
Right.
Now I'm without a team, so I'm kind of floating. I'll float between maybe Montreal, Toronto. I'm kind of liking Winnipeg now. Winnipeg has a nice young team.
It is crazy to think, though, that, when you talk about Montreal, and I was just watching a special that they did on Sportsnet for the 1993 Montreal Canadiens Stanley Cup winning team, which was the last time a Canadian team won the Cup, and that was 25 years ago, which is staggering when you think about it, because, the previous... Before that, the 25-year span, the previous 75 years had been dominated by Canadian teams, right, including the Habs themselves. It's kind of shocking that no Canadian team has won with 25. Hey, listen, statistically, just from a statistical standpoint, it makes no sense that no Canadian team has won. But from a national pride point of view, it's a tough one.
Yeah, and I think Ottawa was the last one that reached the finals too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's a little crazy. Hey, you know what? You know what time it is, boys?
Time for what we're drinking?
That's right. Let's bring back the classic. What we are drinking tonight. A little focus on.
We used to start with that.
Yeah, true. We used to do it twice. That's when we were younger and drinking a lot. Now we're older, wiser.
Yeah, actually, the last time we did one of these, I was in a different decade of my age.
That's right. Your first digit in your age was one less.
Yeah.
And it wasn't 3 to 4.
Yeah, I was going to say something that can't be said on the Hangout, buddy.
Well, all I can say, I'm getting close to that turnover too. So.
Yes, indeed, you are.
All right. So we're drinking. I'm drinking my go-to beer from the East Coast here. This is from Garrison Brewing. This is the double IPA Juicy double IPA. This is 8% volume. It's in the tall boy cans, 473 mils. Usually 2 of those is my evening nowadays. It's pretty good stuff. Keith,
pretty good beer, yeah.
Oh, it's a fantastic beer. Nice, not quite a New England East Coast IPA, but it's very juicy, grapefruit, resiny kind of IPA. It's definitely, to me, it's probably one of the better. I think it is the best double IPA produced in Nova Scotia right now. Keith, what are you drinking tonight, my friend?
Right now, I'm drinking an Uncle Leo's Sunburst.
That is not a bad beer either.
I enjoy it. It's probably that and the Smoke Porter are definitely two of my favorites from Uncle Leo's. But yeah, I picked these up the day we hiked Kepuk Mountain.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we went for a hike about a month and a half ago.
Nice.
Something like that. Yeah, nice early in the season. Jocelyn, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking this little gem. It's called Farmhouse Citra from Brasserie des Mille-Îles here in Quebec. I think they're in Terrebonne or somewhere around there, just northeast of Montreal. Pretty new brewery. I think they opened in 2017, but they're making some really good stuff. So this is kind of a typical farmhouse beer, but it lots of Citra hops. So you're getting that citrus taste, which actually translates into more of a lemony light taste on this. And this is only a 4% beer. So nice and light, easy drinking, great summer beer. And it's got, as you can see, it's got really nice color and kind of slightly hazy. Really nice, really nice.
Nice. Excellent. Well, you know what?
By the way, I'm drinking that in my Uncle Leo's glass, however, that we got at the grand opening when we stood in line for quite a while. Remember that? That's right. A while ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Wow, that was a few years. And Uncle Leo's doing really good. I think they did a little round of expansion there, but they're still at the brim. So they're one of the few breweries. I call them the Phase 2 breweries, craft breweries in Nova Scotia, that they're doing something good. Phase 3 breweries, we can have another discussion on that.
I don't know. There's some good one like Two Crows and
Two Crows and Two Crows and.
I still think that the best, currently the best brewery in the Maritimes is in Fredericton, and it's Trailway.
Yeah. We're just starting to get huge on hops here in cans.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, yeah, we can probably do as we're revamping Friday night hangouts, we can definitely start to introduce the audience to some good beers, especially
for sure
from that. All right. Dan was saying here that he's just rocking the Starbucks Americano tonight. And he never did get his Garrison sponsorship from the old fog burner. And you notice since Dan left, we have not seen the fog burner on shelves.
Oh, is that right?
It may have been at the brewery itself, but usually you would see it at the NSLC or at the privates. We have not seen it this year. So coincidence?
It's I haven't had that old fog burner in a long time. I do like me a good barley wine now and again. But I don't have great memories of that one. I've been really lucky here. You know, there's so much choice here compared to Nova Scotia, right?
I think, Jocelyn, the last time I was there, when you took me to that beer store, I think I picked up a couple barley wines and I just pounded them down like they were a Chores Light. And but yeah, it was great beer. There's one barley wine right now available at the NSLC. It's from Boxing Rock. I think it's aged in wine barrels or something like that. And I complain about the state of some of the breweries right now, how they're going the cheap way, man. They're just doing whatever and plastering $13 on a bottle and expect it to be, to match up against some of the stuff that you see in Quebec or Ontario or even New Brunswick or Maine,
And that's just it. $13, $15 for a bottle of barley wine or porter or Baltic Porter. It's going to be a rare treat for me.
It better be good, because the thing is that there are existing breweries that have been around that make stuff that is consistently world class. I think about something, for example, that's available from now and again in Nova Scotia, which is the 12 Mousquetaires Baltic Porter, which is Man, you know,
Classic.
pound for pound, it's as good as any beer anywhere. You know, it's just that good a beer, and it's, you know, considering that a barley wine, not a barley wine, but a Baltic Porter with the ingredients that go in, it's an expensive beer to make. Here, that 750 ml bottle is regularly available for $9.99, right? And I'm okay with that for that type of beer. It's a special beer, but
and
unproven stuff for more money.
Yeah, no.
I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time with that. There's too much good stuff from good established breweries that you know you're going to really enjoy. And it's not that I don't want to try. I still try a lot of different things, but you know, I don't do research per se, but between the Untapped app on the phone, and I follow a couple Facebook pages of beer enthusiasts here in Quebec, and you know kind of what's trending and what people are really hating. So you steer away from those. You try to go towards what's really been being talked about. So that's kind of how I do my thing now. Instead of letting my pocketbook do the experimenting, which I've had too many disappointments from.
I hear you. I hear. I'm the same way too. So, and I think Keith is the same way too. Keith has the luxury. He has probably one of the best Nova Scotia breweries in his backyard, which is Tatamagouche Brewing.
100%.
They do have a solid Baltic Porter, and the barley wine's good too. So, like I said, I'd say over 3/4 of what I drink now is Tata Brew, and the rest is pretty much cans or dark beer that I sell her.
Yeah.
You know, Tatamagouche doesn't really make a bad beer. They have a couple, you know, of their mainstays that are boring, but I think they're boring by design. They're not made to please. Yeah, exactly, for the masses. They're not made to please the craft beer enthusiasts. They're made to pull in some mass beer drinkers into the craft beer fold. And I get that. So good on them for doing that. But the rest of the stuff they do is really interesting.
And a lot of it doesn't even leave Tatamagouche. It's just you getting your growler filled. It's just the small batches, and if you know you hit it that weekend or you miss out. So a lot of interesting experimental beers the last year or so. Yeah,
exactly. Hey, you know what's experimenting? There was an experiment held last night in the province of Ontario. They voted, and holy shit snacks, wow. Doug Ford from the Conservatives. Doug Ford, brother of Rob Ford, Mayor of Toronto, got a majority government. NDP got a minority. And probably the only Liberal that held on their seat was the past Premier, Wynne. Gotta figure out her name there.
Kathleen Wynne, yeah.
Kathleen Wynne.
Promptly resigned, by the way.
Yeah, like she's like, oh. Wow, you know what? And you look at the map of where people voted, and you know what? People around the Toronto, the GTA, they're pretty dumb as a sack of potatoes.
But doesn't every province do this though? It's like, okay, we like you until we really don't like you anymore, and we're going to kick you out, kick you in the ass, and vote in whatever the next thing that comes along is. They're fatigued with the NDP and the Liberals, so I understand the Conservative vote. What I don't understand before that is why the Conservative Party voted Doug Ford as the leader. That's the real puzzler in my brain that I can't wrap my brain around at all.
Yeah, because you can see a populist like him, you know, that somebody that he strives to appeal to the masses. I get the fact that he won the election. I get that. Him winning the leadership of the party is way harder to understand, especially you know, he was running against Carolyn Mulroney, which showed well. She had a name behind her too, right? It kind of made sense that she could have come in and been the right person. But yeah, this guy, wow, he's a bit of a disaster.
You know, I love the fact that one of his platform promises, was to have $1 a beer reinstated. Too much taxes, but yet on his recent event, They had the open. They had the bar, which was charging $10 a beer. So
Yeah.
so much for that.
Cheap hydro, cheap beer.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's quite unbelievable. But anyways, you know, I think 15 years of the same party ruling that province, people got tired and they just need a change.
Yeah.
Just a bit of that's a wild change.
Big change.
But that seems to be the trend now in politics. Don't you find that whoever is the most out there, left or right, it appeals to disenfranchised or people that feel like they're disenfranchised and they vote, and the people in the center aren't voting as much, I don't think.
Well, it's true because look at what happened in Alberta a few years ago. You know, the last thing you thought Alberta would do was elect an NDP government.
That was a shocker.
It didn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense that Ford is there. It doesn't make sense that Trump's there. But
but I think this is a trend we're going to see continue.
I think you're right.
Yeah, you're right. And yet I understand people are angry. I'm angry too. You know, we are not probably where we should be in our lives as compared to our parents' generation, that kind of stuff. Baby boomers are just sucking us dry and resources and stuff. And
Everybody out of the iceberg.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, everybody get on spaceships and let's go find another planet. And but yet they do the easy thing, which is to turn to the craziest one that sounds like, you know, the rainbow unicorn, or I like to say the acting like a monkey loose from a cocaine experiment. You know, which I think
give that monkey $1 bill.
I think was a great line, though. It's like,
yep.
But still, yeah, we're seeing it anyway. But you know, thank God, at least for us nationally. Well, we did do our revolt. It was Trudeau, but still, though, the provinces. I think you'll see that trend. I think New Brunswick's coming up next in terms of elections.
Well, Quebec as well.
Quebec too, that's right. So that should be interesting because you saw all the Liberals in Quebec, the current ministers, they're all like, "No, I'm done."
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
I'm not running. I'm done.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting election, and the party system is a bit different here in Quebec than it is in other provinces. So we don't have a provincial conservative party, right? We don't have the PCs around, but we have the CAQ, the Coalition Avenir Québec, which is, you know, the right wing, right of center party. They're not, you know, super right wing, but and they're leading in the polls right now. So probably the same thing's going to happen again. Now, the leader of that party is not a total whack job like Doug Ford is. So
yeah, and that's the in the news you might hear them as the CAC.
Yes,
the CAC, and the leader of that is the old
François Legault.
François Legault, which
he started Air Transat, right? So he's got legit business chops behind him because he started a very successful company and eventually sold it to get into politics. So he's got a solid business background behind him, but he's been in politics now for, you know, a good 15 years. So that business acumen is far behind him now.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, well that's pretty good for the election. Now the only thing I think is for the rest of us outside of Ontario will be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks is in Canada, July 1st. We'll be smoking some weed, legalize. I guess there was the Senate and Canadian Senate passed the bill, 46 amendments, which means that has to go back to the Commons for some discussions, but it looks like it's pretty much a done deal. So July 1st, marijuana will be legal in certain states, but in certain conditions, health conditions. Most of the provinces have their locations kind of set up. They're renovating. They got pretty much kind of how they want to distribute that kind of stuff. They got the distributors lined up. All these old politicians that used to be cops, that were against drugs are now the big kingpins.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is very ironic. But I don't know. I will be picking up some weed on July 1st. I mean, why not, right? I mean, I can pick
So
up.
it is July 1st now, because they talked about there was going to be a delay.
Well, there probably will be. Let's face it, there probably will be a delay.
I'm pissed. I could have plants in by now. You know that?
Oh, yeah. July 1st, man. I'm picking up some plants, ordering some seeds. Was it Vancouver Seed Bank?
And get your electric fence, because deer love that shit. So.
Oh, do they? Well, no, I'm doing it inside, man. I'm doing all that. Oh no! The ponics there with the pots and fucking lights, and it'd be great. I think, yeah, sure.
Now we know why Buddy's sitting on your retaining wall every night at 2:30 a.m., Jim.
Well, I think
he sees the lights on at night in there.
I think he probably has the shades that see the infrared lights, see all the heat that I have downstairs opening up. But you know, the tide's changing. You just saw stuff in the States here. Trump apparently won't oppose in the states plans to legalize marijuana, so they probably won't prosecute, which means the companies that have set up legally in Nevada, Colorado, for example, now they can probably try to get deals with banks to handle transactions and payments instead of handling cash or other.
Well, they're making too much tax revenue to poo-poo on it now, really.
Exactly.
So I mean, they know another cash cow.
Exactly, and I believe Maine is going to be the next state online that you can just pick up some recreational marijuana too. So
let's go.
We're going in July, August. So hey, we'll do a hangout there. And
anything to declare?
For me, cannabis, marijuana, it's not my thing, and that's not going to change July 1st. And I've never had a problem with people who use it, and nor will I have a problem come July 1st. Just not my thing. However, I'm really interested in it from a business point of view, and from a how each province is handling, the selling of it. And I know in Nova Scotia, it's actually going to be sold in some select liquor stores, which is kind of weird, right? Because if you're somebody who consumes marijuana and you want to go buy a little bit of it, and you're an alcoholic, let's say, trying to steer away from booze, you will be in a store where they sell booze.
Well, the funny thing is, and nobody has reported this on it, but they missed out on a recent tender that the Liquor Corporation in Nova Scotia put out, which is a new system to track your debit and credit card purchases to build customer profile.
Oh, yeah, right.
So they're planning to track, where is going on. Like, are people going to be transitioning off booze to the weed or vice versa, where they're buying that kind of stuff? But to your point, Jocelyn, there's I believe there's a couple polls or surveys where people who, it's not really going to change that many people to say, I'm going to start. Those who haven't, those probably will continue to. So
sure,
that's just it. It's not going to make people smoke more. You just might not be worried about being prosecuted for it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's going to change for sure. Here in Quebec, they're actually opening standalone cannabis stores, which are still run by the provincial liquor board, the SAQ here, but they're going to be standalone stores.
You're not going to be allowed to grow it in Quebec, are you?
Currently, the provincial government doesn't want to let people grow their own, and the federal government are saying, no, you have to let them. So there's a bit of a tug of war there.
But it's only like 3 or 4 plants, so it's not
That's just it. 3 or 4 plants is a lot if you're a very casual smoker. I mean, that's
your supply for the next 2 years or something.
And more importantly for the government, 3 or 4 plants isn't something that they can't tax.
Yeah, true. True.
If you grow your own, they can't tax you.
To me, I just look at it like homebrew.
Yeah. Well, it'll be very interesting.
Yes, you're right.
It'll be very interesting how they do it. Now it's supposed to include the buds, the oils, the vape products, that kind of stuff. So
So you're saying we're going to start doing that on the Hangout after July 1st? Is that what you're saying, Jim?
What are you smoking now?
What are you smoking tonight?
Well, I got this purple thrush. It has a nice little. I don't know, whatever. I don't know what do you guys talk about. I've never. I guess I've never partake. I never smoked, so I don't know. So, but it's like, I can go in, pick it up, give it a try. If I don't like it, don't like it.
To me, I'd like to have some like I have Advil in the cabinet. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I'd rather do that than have to pop a pill that companies spent billions of dollars developing and gets hooked on, or opioids, or
Do you have an everyday problem, or do you want to knock the edge off of something? Do you know? I guess that's
exactly
how I look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at it differently.
Exactly, and I believe there's all these variations where they help you sleep, help you mellow, help you have a trip. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, the neighbor here, he smokes a little toke in the morning, toke after work.
I smelled it before.
Oh yeah, you smelled it. Yeah, that's right. When you came to visit me. Hey, let's do a big thing coming up, boys. It's just Father's Day. We're all dads, right?
Yes, indeed.
And I just happen to have the latest Canadian Tire flyer, which is, if you're in Canada on Father's Day, you got to go through the flyer to see what you want to tell the missus or the little one, to tell you what to pick up for Father's Day.
I already picked out what I want.
Well, which one was that? What did you pick?
It's not in there, but I'm telling everybody anyway. What I want for Father's Day is not to be kicked in the nuts again. Putting the kids to bed tonight, kicked in the nuts. Not on purpose, of course, but it happens about once every week or two.
Well, I really had my eye on this 20-inch high aluminum work platform. That's just 60% off.
Oh my God!
It's well, no, it's funny because we had a little footstool that we got at IKEA like a number of years ago when we were living in Montreal, Jocelyn, your neck of the woods, and it finally bit the dust. It finally succumbed to the stresses and manhandling, and we need another footstool. But I'm thinking this 20-inch high aluminum work platform, 60% off.
Are you saying that footstool was fine, a few years ago when you were younger and a few pounds lighter?
Well, actually, it broke when we had our. I'll tell you the exact story.
I don't think I want to hear the story.
No.
Yeah, probably not.
No, it wasn't me.
Put the kids to bed.
No, it wasn't me. It was we had our kitchen redone, and the electrician was not a light guy.
Oh, I see.
And he climbed on it, and he cracked the legs under the weight. And all of a sudden, because we're getting renovated, people are coming in and out. And all of a sudden, it's like, where's the goddamn footstool? I don't know. It disappeared for like a week. Buddy had it glued up.
No way.
Fix it. Yes. Felt bad that he broke this IKEA footstool. And anyway, so
what, he glued it up and hid it from you guys or something?
Yeah, and then it's like, look, here's the footstool again. And it's like, oh,
that's hilarious.
Right?
Fall to your doom.
It's so funny that he glued it up.
Well, anyway, the glue finally gave way and it cracked. And
so is this all true, or is this the story that you gave Jen?
Okay, now listen, this is a pretty good story if it was creative. It's too batshit crazy not to be true. So
I don't know, man.
You know what? I'll let the two viewers watching on the Hangout decide whether or not this is made up or not.
2 years now.
Or maybe one. You know what? We were offline, Keith, for like a year and a half, 2 years.
2 years? I don't know.
Yeah, we got to rebuild.
People can learn like new languages in that time and, go to Mars. So, I mean, what the hell do you expect? Hi, everybody. You remember us? No.
Who are you? What? Oh, how about this other? Oh, are there other guys that do talk about beer?
So what are you guys trying to sell anyway? Like,
listen, the last time we did the Hangout was so long ago that Trump was not even a topic on the Hangout. So you're looking at a year and a half of his presidency, plus about a year of,
that's right.
year of campaigning, because God knows that if we had done a Hangout during the time that he was running, we would have talked about the guy.
Oh my God,
it would have been great.
Hey, you know what? I'm saying right now before we move on here. Here we go. This is what I want here. Save $60. The cast iron cook set here from Woods off the Canadian Tire. Woods cast iron 8-piece set, Jen.
How much?
It's at $99. You get your Dutch oven, you get 3 frying pans, cover, lid handle, and a skillet. Includes a storage box.
So my recommendation for you is that you could do a highly edited version of the Hangout for her that includes just this section where you say what you want.
Yeah.
And tell her to listen to the 8-second.
But she's sitting right there, guys. She's just 5 feet from me. She's been listening the whole Hangout. I don't know.
There you go. Well, only your part.
Yeah, true.
I was looking at the flyer. There's some nice power banks in there. They're like 75% off. So I think I'm going to grab more.
Speaking of power bank, I just picked this one off Amazon. 70% off. Tolo 20,000 milliamp.
I have one of those. Yeah.
So I think it operates more like a 15,000.
You can get a lot of charges in them. I ran one last time we went to Baxter, the whole trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been evaluating. So that's I'm evaluating. Now, one product, it's just because I got junk here and I can see. One thing I didn't like is this thing. I bought this Mountain Equipment Co-op. Can you guess what it is?
No.
This is a USB battery powered piezo or Elsa arc lighter. Oh, where's the lens?
Huh.
So
that kind of has a lightsaber quality to it.
Oh, it's awesome. Until the fact that you got to make sure that this is charged on a regular basis, because if you leave it for a few months and you take it out and you want to use it and the damn thing doesn't work because it doesn't hold the charge, then this becomes very useless.
You don't have to charge?
What?
A Bic.
Yeah.
You know what? I have this. I got the drawer. I got 5 Bic lighters right there in the drawer. I got a couple in my backpack. No, one thing I do buy at Canadian Tire is a set of Bic lighters.
You can get a set with the metal protective case too for like $5.
Yeah. No, I'm not down on that point. But just to Keith's point here, Bic lighter, can't go wrong with that.
So here's my question.
This was $18, by the way.
So I get it. It's not a lot of money, but still. So you're just roaming around Amazon. You're kind of bored that night. You're looking at stuff. You stumble upon this. You say, that's kind of cool. It's not that much money, but still, it's a plug-in USB lighter, which nobody in the world needs. What possessed you to press the buy now button?
I don't know. I thought
after July 1st, it'll pay for itself. Guaranteed. If I'm wrong, you tell me, but I'll buy you later if I'm wrong.
No, man, because I had bought Zippo lighters and I don't smoke.
You gotta use those all the time though, or they don't work.
Exactly.
So I hate them.
Exactly, right. Keith. So I have all these dried up Zippo lighters that I don't use, and it's like, well, it's not the point. And then I saw this, at least hopefully the battery will keep its charge for at least 2 years, so that when I do need to light up a campfire, I can have this cool little Tesla arc lighter, right? But no, damn thing wouldn't. And it's a small battery too. It's like 200 or 300 milliamps. It's like nothing.
It doesn't even look like it's really practical, like for lighting anything but like a cigarette or something.
But here's the thing: you have to keep I don't want to start a fire in the house because I've been here.
Because Jennifer's 5 feet.
You're going to sell the house in 3 or 4 years.
So you got to put the item in between the arc.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah,
so you can't like light it up like that. You got to so it takes.
Not super practical.
No, you need thin material.
Yeah.
And also doesn't generate that much heat. And this cover, it's not waterproof. So when this is wet, this doesn't work.
Oh my God.
So
what's the point?
Right?
What?
So that's an $18 piece of crap, essentially.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's on the counter here. It's not in any of my kits because it's not good. I don't like it.
Clearly, yeah.
What else do I have here? Oh, actually, one thing I do like here, boys. This is my $20 Wi-Fi repeater. It's the Xomi My Wi-Fi 2. And it plugs into USB and acts as a Wi-Fi repeater. I have a wall socket here on the wall that has USB ports. Extends my Wi-Fi, so when I go outside, I'm in the dining room. If I want to go outside in the backyard, extends the Wi-Fi connection. Use this to fly my drone. Just plug this into a battery bank, and you have a Wi-Fi repeater. So if you want to do like a hotspot on your cell phone, let's say you're at a park and say, "Oh, I'm in the spot where I got cellular reception. Let's do a hotspot." You can probably do this. You can probably set this up too if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I mean, if you have a big house, and a lot of people with larger houses, they have spots in the house where their Wi-Fi is not so great. So that works.
I need an extender for the garage, so there you go.
Yeah, right.
So there you go. And for a lot of people, they have their internet router is in the basement. So there you go. So,
yes.
Right? So exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that works. That's cool.
So
how much was that?
That was $20.
Yeah, that's good.
But Amazon is very easy to make those impulse buys, and sometimes you get it. And it's like, it's kind of a piece of garbage. Why did I do that? But you know, every once in a while, not often, but sometimes.
Yeah, and I think, and it's really funny because at first, I wasn't too much on the Amazon, but I know Keith, you really turned me on to a couple things. You turned me on to Prime, and you turned me on to a couple other things, kind of specific Amazon stuff. But once you start getting in there and seeing all the different variations and
Prime is so worth it. At the end of it, we were buying diapers there. You could subscribe to diapers, like when Alex was still, and then I buy a lot of things for my business there because it saves me going to town to look for it and I need this certain size thing. Do you have it in the stock room? Boom,
yeah,
buy, and it's there 2 days later. So it saves me time. It saves me money.
Yeah, that's what I like.
The things that they have, it's insane. I can find these obscure fittings for my compressor on there. Like, who would think?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like it for things like if I'm in the office and I'm down, and I use Keurigs at the office just because they're convenient for there, and but anyways, when I'm down to like just a few Keurig pods at the office, I just go onto my phone and start the app. I press one time, and in Montreal, we're lucky. It's quick. The next day, the stuff is in my office.
Yeah, it's insane. I tried while I was working in Toronto. I was going there for every 4 days. Well, for 4 days every week, most of the winter. I got bored, and it's like I need something, a gadget or something to buy my time. And then I bought a pair of Bluetooth headphones, and I was in Toronto. I was like, how can I get this in Toronto? Oh, Amazon Locker at the Whole Foods next to where I was staying. So I was getting stuff delivered in this Amazon Locker. The next day, came a day early than expected. The fulfillment center, the warehouse, was in Scarborough, not too far away from where I was. So yeah, I mean, depending on what it is, well, the one-click buy, we ended up buying. All of a sudden, stuff showed up at the doorstep, and I was like, I didn't order this. And then
no.
And then the missus was like, "Whoopsie."
I've even found appliance parts on there and had them 2 days later. So I mean, that warehouse, those warehouses have to be massive.
Yeah, huge. And to think, and there was a thread on Reddit not too long ago locally. People were complaining they'd never get their stuff on time. I'm like, man,
I always do.
I always get stuff on time. Like
I'm in the sticks.
Yeah, and
you're
off the beaten path. I'm in the suburbs. There was one day I made one order, but it was shipped in 3 packages, 3 different carriers.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
All came in the same day, and it's like one after, because who shows up at what time after a while, like UPS guys in the morning, later's in the afternoon, and then maybe Canada Post is about either or, right? It's either morning, afternoon. But
unless it's a blizzard, I get it on time.
Yeah, I don't think I've had anything not show up on time. So I don't know what people were talking about, or the sheer amount of packages there. Think about the sheer amount of packages.
Unbelievable.
It's what saved Canada Post, basically.
Canada Post, American Postal Service. I mean,
well, it's a lot of these courier companies. We have a company here called Intelcom, and they do probably locally here, I don't know, 60-70% of the Amazon business in Montreal, and I'm sure that's their entire business model for that company is catering to Amazon.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I know Canada Post, their parcel rate back at Christmas time went through the roof, like for setting a new record.
Oh yeah. And you think about it. I mean, like right now, look at my account. I have all sorts of different shipping addresses. I got stuff for me, stuff for the in-laws, stuff for my parents, and it's very easy to when you're visiting, and it's like, oh, I really would like to have this, and then you're like, oh, let me just be the nice son and send my mom a little care package, right? Or it's very easy. Like, it's so easy now especially when you do it on your phone. Now, of course, we're in Canada. We have a different app if you were to choose the US store, where you can just scan barcodes or take a picture, take the camera show the object, and it will recognize what the object is and then order it for you. So it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is quite remarkable, everything you can do with that with Amazon. And I use it quite a bit. My daughter lives away from me, and sometimes she needs stuff, and she wants a book or whatever, and so easy. Like I order it, have it delivered to her address. Man, oh man, it's just very, very convenient.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. All right, boys, it's been an hour. How about we wrap this up for our first Welcome Back Hangout? What do you think about that?
It's been a while. It's good to be back.
Oh, it's good to be back.
I didn't feel a thing.
I didn't feel a thing after the second juicy either. All right. Of course, folks who are catching this live, we'll be doing the podcast version of this. Thanks to Jocelyn and Keith for joining me on a Friday night. And for Dan and Mike who commented, thank you very much. And we'll see you guys next time.